Today, I'm going to talk about the most important thing you can do to market your book, and that is find your tribe. Nerd Nation. Okay, finding your tribe. How to find the readers who will absolutely love your book. Marketing your book, episode 3. This is pretty similar to episode 2, but it is by and large, the most important thing and the most important advice I can give to you is finding your tribe. Okay, so who am I? Sterling Nixon, been writing since 1999. First book was published in 2009. I'm the author of the Nickel Brickleby series, Acadia series, Gladiators of the Namatjia, and 7 Days, and a bunch of other books. So this is your book. It is cute. It is cuddly. You have just spent the last 6 months to 2 years writing, working with, and creating this book. It is precious to your heart. But you don't want to just have your book in the closet. You want it to get it out there and have people read it and enjoy it and see all the great things about your book that you enjoy putting together. So it's time to send out your book to the world. And no expense was spared in the making of this presentation. Okay, so now you send out your book into the world. And as we're talking, this is where you want to be. These are the readers that you want to find. These are the readers that will absolutely love your book and everything that you put out about this series, or maybe just your writing style in general. These people will love your book. But there's a lot of layers of readers that you've got to get through before you can make it here. You especially don't want circles 4, 5, or 6. All right. So this is the first individuals that you approach with your book. It's very easy. These are your solid friends and family. Turns out they love everything you put out, everything you write. But unfortunately, you don't have millions of family members. Otherwise, you wouldn't need anything else. Since you only have a few, you have to expand it out to another layer of readers. Next, you have your rubbery friends and family. And this is a kind of an interesting phenomenon. It'd be interesting to do a deep dive and try to figure this out. These individuals, they read everything you write, but they don't ever talk to you about it or leave a review, which is kind of fascinating. All right, next you're going to have friends of friends. They don't know you, so they don't feel the urge to help you. So there's a lot less motivation to repost your things on social media or maybe share about your book with other people. They don't know you, so they don't feel the urge. But the cool thing about this group, friends of friends, if they like your genre, they might really enjoy it. So you might truly get your first real fans in the friends of friends layer, right? And I have a lot of people that have picked up books by that connection. Basically, I knew this person that you know, and they referred this book to me, and I loved it. It was awesome. Some of the biggest fans that I have are from the Friends of Friends circle. So they can be really big fans, or they might just be very apathetic because they don't feel the urge, or they don't feel like they know you, so they don't feel the urge to help or want to help you. Not because they're bad people, just because they've got their own thing going on, and you're just a person they don't know. So you think to yourself, man, I've only sold a few dozen, maybe 100 or 2 copies. I got to get my book out to more people. They all gonna love my baby. So you just start advertising everywhere, telling everyone, everywhere you go, everyone, everything. Hey, this is the greatest book. You're gonna love it. It's fantastic. You start describing your book like it has everything. Everyone's going to love it. It's got sci-fi, romance, fantasy, dystopian with aliens, a female main character, and a male main character. It's so funny and dramatic, lighthearted, and soul-searing, right? So you just package every element you find in that book because honestly, every book has a little bit of romance or it might have a lot of romance, but you can take a lot of elements and you can make a book sound like it just appeals, just has mass appeal, general appeal to everyone. So you send out your book, your precious book out to strangers. The world is full of potential readers, but many of them aren't right for your book. This is so important to remember. This is so important. I want you guys to log this knowledge away because it's going to help when you get a bad review and they're just they express, I wanted something different. And then you realize they probably aren't suited to read the book anyway because they wanted a totally different genre, a totally different approach, right? That's not the book that you wrote, the book that they wanted, that they expected, right? If they pick it up and that's not what they expected, you likely won't win them over. Best case, they will not finish it. Worst case, they will finish it and blast it out to the world how horrible it is. Your baby just got its first black eye. 1-star review just showed up on your Amazon page. You feel like a horrible parent. Some of you, not me of course, may even cry. Some books have universal appeal, but most don't. That is so important. To create a unique story, you likely have to narrow your story down, which means you narrow your audience. This is a good thing, right? You don't want the same tropes, the same wide appeal, the same general story that everyone has told a million times before. You want a unique story, right? That speaks powerfully to people. Well, as you do that, you end up narrowing your audience. I think that's a good thing. The people that like your book really like it, right? So when you find your niche and your people, they love that book. It's almost like it was written for them. And in essence, it truly was. Think of it like a restaurant. Some people don't like Chick-fil-A, others don't like McDonald's. All the discounts, incentives, giving your book away for free, advertisements will not change that. You can try to get someone who loves Chick-fil-A over to McDonald's, give them a free sandwich meal, you get X amount of dollars per month to spend at McDonald's for free. And it doesn't matter. They're not going to like that McDonald's burger. They're going to prefer their Chick-fil-A and vice versa. It is important to remember that. You should have narrowed your audience further so it goes to the right readers. And our poor little baby book, our book here, it got a black eye. All right, so you decide, I'm going to narrow this more down. Instead of just saying, everyone is going to like this book, I'm going to say that individuals who like my genre. So you label it sci-fi, right? And there's I believe, about 90 to 100 million sci-fi readers out there. So it is a vast market. And you're like, that's the people that I need. So you send out the Facebook, TikTok, Instagram ads targeting sci-fi lovers, right? Because sci-fi, typically, they're pretty hardcore. But some readers think you have too much violence or not enough. The pacing was too slow, then it was way too fast. You sell some copies, but then, bam, a few 3-star, 2-star, and several 1-stars. Now even people that might be interested in your book hesitate to buy it. Your book got another black eye. So the problem is when you use the term or the genre sci-fi, it can mean a lot of different things. These are both sci-fi books, but anyone that's read Dune, not seen the movies, I'm talking about reading Dune, and read The Martian, you'd recognize and realize these are vastly different types of books for vastly different types of audiences. Now, The Martian has much more wide appeal to a general audience. Dune is much more niche. And there is going to be, of course, some bleed over where you have fans of both. But the vast majority of people that read The Martian won't necessarily love Dune. But you don't know how to narrow the search more, and you don't know how to get it to more people. So you decide, if I could just get an influencer to read it, they'll love it for sure. You send it out an email for a paid sponsorship to over 80 influencers, both well and lesser known, but only 4 respond. So you say, yeah, let's do it. Okay, so here's the next layer of readers. Influencers, I gotta move this recording bar. Influencers who read your genre. So this is the next layer of readers that you're trying to capture. But since you approach the influencers instead of them finding your book organically, they are somewhat skeptical. Because if influencers, well, we'll talk about how their job. Influencers have an extremely difficult job. And it is because essentially they have to predict the future. Let me explain what I mean by that. They have to constantly find out what is trending and be ahead of the wave. It's kind of ironic that their names are influencers because they get influenced a lot by the market. Their currency, and this is so true, is authenticity. My currency making this video is authenticity to you. If you don't believe that I am really telling you what I believe deep down inside, if you think that I am just putting out, uh, you know, ideas that aren't applicable and aren't true and aren't authentic, you'll immediately turn off this video because there is no point to continue on. If they lose that, they lose their audience. All right, so let me explain the influencer wave. And it goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then your book is over here. Okay. So your book, unless it has already sold millions of copies, isn't going to be picked up by influencers without approaching them and talking to them and engaging them about your book and offering a copy or whatnot. And we'll talk about working with influencers in a later video. But here's the steps of the influencer wave. Okay, so in step 1 is the hype for a subject, book, or topic begins to build. Okay, so in this, the hype of, let's say, K-pop Demon Hunters, because that's a perfect example. All of a sudden, K-pop Demon Hunters starts going out there. It has wide appeal. Influencers are tuned into this, and they immediately start making videos capitalizing on that success. Now, influencers jump on it. For book talkers, that means a viral book. And there's a lot of viral books out there. And if you think about it, you're probably hearing about the same 10 books that all the influencers are talking about, even though they might be slightly different genre-specific influencers, which is kind of an interesting phenomenon. So they start more influencers jumping on as this wave builds momentum. And as it's getting stronger and stronger, right, more people are engaging with them, K-pop Demon Hunters. But towards the end of the wave, the influencers are promoting something that is about to reverse trend, right? So they want to get off that wave as soon as possible, because if they are on that wave when it crashes, they are going to lose authenticity. They lose some of their audience, right? And this is the vicious cycle of being an influencer. Influencers get made and unmade by this vicious cycle every year. They've got to stay ahead of the curve. They have to show authenticity through getting onto the trends early. And now you might be asking, well, can't a influencer not get on trends? And those are specifically the influencers that don't have wide reach, right? If you think about a trend, it's basically the stuff that blows up, right? And so by definition, influencers have to get on the trend in order for them to expand their reach. Some of the influencers don't think your book will trend. Not a problem. They are just going with their gut, their instinct, right? So you engage with the influencers, you worked with them, but they just don't think that your book is going to make it for whatever reason. Doesn't have wide appeal. They don't like the cover. Never mind if they actually enjoyed the text or not. They post about it, but their heart is not really in it. Or maybe they don't post about it. They don't do any follow-ups and they quickly move on. And if you notice, there's a massive trend. And like I said, let's say about 10 books. Influencers constantly keep going back to 3 or 4 books that are still riding that wave. And that's a great indication that they're trying to still capitalize on that wave, that trend. You sell thousands of books in a short amount of time because you worked with 4 influencers, but 3 out of 4 influencers don't rate it well. Why should they? Your book was not trending before they picked it up. Why would it trend now? Your book takes another hit on reviews and sales dip. So you go back to the drawing board. Instead of going for all readers, you decide, you know what? I'm going to specifically go for the right readers. You try to eliminate the wrong readers. You actually want less readers if it means they are the right ones. You make your ads as targeted as possible on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You try to narrow the search so much to make sure you get the right individuals. But Facebook, TikTok, Instagram ads are super saturated already, and sales pick up, but not enough to justify the ads. I've seen this in 2014 when 7 Days came out. Man, I could spend so little money on Amazon ads and it went so far. We're talking 10, 15, 20 cents per click per sale. If I would have known that trend of ads becoming so much more expensive, I would have dumped so much money into ads, and just been tremendously successful. And I was successful at some point, but I didn't spend as much as I should have. Now, these ads are sometimes $3, $4, $5 per click, super expensive ads. And that's even if you narrow the field down very much. And that's in relation to Amazon. I've been able to actually get Facebook ads down to 6 cents per click, but a lot of that is not converting into sales. They're interested, they're cruising around trying to find something to entertain them. They see your ad, they chase down that rabbit hole for a little bit, but they're having a hard time converting. So you begin posting videos about your books, authentically sharing what your books are about and trying to connect with your readers. And I think this is how you are going to find your tribe. That personal connection between them and you is what is going to win them over. Not necessarily that you're becoming BFFs, but they like a book, they read a book, and then they're able to connect with the author on some personal level is really powerful. And this is where you find your tribe. You discover your tribe of readers. It's small, but they love your books. And then your tribe will evangelize about the book. You got to read this next book, Acadia. It just, blow your socks off, right? And those are the individuals that you actually wrote your book for, and the ones that appreciate the most, right? That enjoy it, they share it, and they appreciate it. Your tribe of readers wants not only to read your books, but develop a friendship with you, see you on your journey. It takes more time, energy, and focus, but the hope is that the tribe will grow. If your books are good, they will grow. And that is the trick. Your tribe expands to include influencers, but this time the influencers sought you out instead of you seeking them out. They are trying to jump on the wave of that trend of influence, right? And so book sales start to pick up. I myself, I'm still looking for members of my tribe. I'd much rather have 5,000 great readers that engage with me all the time, give me ideas, suggestions, we go back and forth, than have a million readers out there that are pretty much disengaged. They don't want to be as involved. And the book is entertaining, but not what they really want to read as a passionate read, right? Or a big interest of theirs. Anyway, so I'm still looking to do the Race for 1,000 campaign. Oh, please, by the way, do all the things, like, subscribe, check out sterlingnixon.com, check out my merch page. Also, question for the day: do you feel like it is possible to have success in such a crowded market? Okay, I'm still doing the Race to 1,000. The first 2 Audible books for Acadia are going to be free. If you're interested, see the comments below. There'll be a link and you can learn more about it there. Next episode: how to work with influencers to help sell your book. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. You guys have a good one.